Hey guys, Skim with 3800 here. Once again, we're back in Beam. Today, we're going to be going over some of the major changes and revamps I've been going over for a lot of my own packs. We're going to start things off with Black Magic with its always on fire headers. Let's go. That's about it for that. Just gave a quick run to show what the truck is like stock, because we have quite a lot of things to go over. Let's go over some of the basics first. One of the basics is I'm going to remove these sounds because they are just actually loud. I have added black magic sounds as their own thing, just a louder version of indie sounds, so that's why they're so loud. We're going to go to stock sounds to keep things consistent. I guess I need to change the headers as well. Let's go. Alright, everything else we got here is going to be brand new, so let's start from the top. We got the customizable chassis. What does this do? This gives us control of mostly everything, really. We can remove the chassis Lexan. I got customized black Lexan, but if you don't like that, well, now you can just flat out remove it. Even the back Lexan, that's gone too. And then the chassis bars. If you don't like how the bars look on your chassis, well, quite simple. Get rid of them. It's quite a different look, but if you've always wanted to have something over the engine, but the bars were getting in the way, now you can use this engine bar slot for your own thing. Of course, if you put on the outer bars, you will get the normal engine cover slot back. That's how it looks like with only the outer bars. If we take those off and use only the crossbars, then it'll look like this. I think it looks cool. It's a little bit different. I've actually done this before on the long chassis, so that Redline could do some cursed stuff with his ride truck stuff. But I've now put it to a more official term here, because this is such a good idea. Go ahead and put on the other bars once again. And this next thing is something I did just to make the slots cleaner. If you are familiar with Front Engines Pack, and I guess Rescale mod as well, the suspension slots were kind of anywhere they wanted to be, but the normal spot, instead of at the bottom, they were either at the top, in the middle, or just every time in a different spot. Well, the suspension slot itself may still be in a different spot every time, but it'll at least have both front and rear suspension in its sub slot. I'll do this to front engines as well, but for now it's only on this. And you might see CRD suspension. I did that on purpose. Why? Well, take a look at this. Everyone loves how well CRD 3 handles, so I have added CRD 3 suspension. Now we can see that The front suspension has a little bit of camber, and it should handle way better. But don't worry, I have also fixed something that CRD 3 suspension really needed. I have added adjustable wheelbase suspension to CRD 3. So you can put the suspension on CRD 3, not just this customizable chassis. So if we wanted to make it super long and handle really good, well, now we can do that on CRD and CRD 3. No more will the CRD 3 be at a disadvantage for racing. And the last thing for suspension, I need to go back to CRD suspension for this, is that I am fully allowed to bring back one of my old Force Science ideas and actually release it. If we take a look here, we can put on something pretty cool. That's right, CRC suspension has been put onto CRD with all of its PBR greatness and fantastic handling. I did have to edit the sway bars because the mount on CRC is much higher. And of course, I had to figure out why the limit straps were wanting to explode. But aside from that, it was a pretty easy swap. I didn't have to move really anything. The problem with that, though, is that they don't line up very well. I will fix this for final release. And this does mean that because the suspension is now basically inside the chassis J-beam there, if you land upside down, it will break easier. But if you don't do that, it does handle really good. That's a very loud supercharger. I will fix that. So the reason I put the CRC suspension on CRD originally was so that I could see if I could pinpoint why it handled so good. And a lot of it has to do with just better damping properties and the angles it's at. But a lot of it I found was actually the tire damping. At the time, it was triple what CRD had. Now it's more in line with CRD, how they're both basically equal. But at the time, that was quite defined. And I used it to make some of my own race tires for CRD. But now, we just have CRD suspension being CRC. And the adjustable wheelbase edition is also available with really very little consequence. I do still need to redefine some of the default numbers because CRC is heavier than CRD. And as such, we do ride higher than we would on CRC. But we still have the option to fully tune it in the menu here. If we go here, it'll be super long now. And if you don't like that, well, you can make it super short. Yep, that's CRC suspension on CRD. And because of how we can also put CRD suspension on CRD3, this does mean we can get CRC suspension on CRD3 as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the other chassis I have. And it hasn't had any progress in a long time, but you will be very happy to know it has been getting a revamp. That's right, we got the double scale chassis. Nope, not the half scale chassis, the one that needs it. We got the double scale one. Double scale's engine and gearbox have been adjusted to be less garbage, since I know what I'm doing with gearboxes now. This is very wacky. Braking force, I don't know why it defaults to that. That's very low pressure. And in order to make the truck feel less floaty, I found putting it on a higher gravity does in fact help. So if we go maybe to 15 times gravity, we'll have ourselves a truck that behaves a little bit more normal. At least when jumping. Oh yeah, that's right, I have no fuel. But you can see it is easier to drive. No longer do you just top out at 400 miles an hour in second gear. That has been resolved. Okay, but actually, I've shown this off previously in like its own little mini video, but I think it's time to show it off here since I have made it less awful. The quarter scale chassis is brand new, and it's very cute. It's also very loud. Yep, this is something I've been working on for a while. It always had very bad tires, where the tires would just scrunch up and never really be usable in jumps. I have recently resolved that. Also, nice steering wheel. Can't fix that. The problem with this mod right now is that when you land, the camera is super shaky. But other than that, it seems to be ready to go. You can see the tires did get scrunched up a bit, but they popped right back out. That's what I've been working pretty hard on to get this ready for release. I need to get some more things figured out, like the default suspension levels and such. But yeah, this is just something cute I've been working on. It's not done yet, but I hopefully will have it out for version 8 of all my packs. One thing I can show, actually, on this is something that is broken with my packs with this current BeamNG update, and that is if we put in the electric motor onto any vehicle, it just won't drive because they changed the way the electric systems work. So it doesn't even steer. You can see in the top right, it still has power, The engine's detected, but nothing else is. I don't know what that is. I may have to just remove it or just put in parentheses not working for now. The model works, and we still have power in the top right. It still says it's electric, but I just can't move. So I'll have to fix that. This does mean that the old main truck of adjustable add-ons afterlife is the dead. It finally died. Back to the afterlife you go. You can't put any engine into it. Like what I show, you can put other engines into this tiny thing, and it'll work. But still, just thought I'd mention it. Also broken is woman rear steering, because after 5 years of saying they would be deprecated, they have actually finally removed the function keys. So if we go to vehicle, there used to be like A through like Z functions in here, and they would always say to be deprecated. But after 5 years, they finally have, so oh well. Woman, I guess, will be updated, and if you're not getting the vehicle specific for CRD, what you can do is hit Control L and then Control R, or just reload the game. Either of those will work. Sometimes after a big BeamNG update, the CRD LUA doesn't get reset properly. So do that after a few times and it should stay permanent. Anyways, that's it for now. Next video, I'll show you all some huge engine mods I've been working on. That should be exciting. If you're up for that, you can leave a like, favorite, comment, share, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well. Thanks, Gameway out. I'll see you all in the future.